You open your exchange app at 2:13 a.m. because you can't sleep. The number on the screen used to feel like a miracle. Your portfolio was up so much that you caught yourself pricing a car, a trip, maybe even a house down payment. You didn't sell. You told yourself you were strong. You told yourself you were long-term. You told yourself you'd sell at the top somehow. Then the market does what crypto always does. One red day becomes 3. Your unrealized profit shrinks, but you don't touch it because selling feels like betrayal. A week later, the profit is gone. 2 weeks later, you're staring at your original cost basis like it's a life raft. And one more ugly week later, you're below break even. Still holding, still hoping, still refreshing, still asking, how did I turn a winning bull run into nothing? That moment has a name, round-tripping your gains. And if you've ever felt that gut punch, this video is for you. Today I'm going to give you a simple, practical plan, a crypto exit strategy spreadsheet template that forces you to decide your sell rules before your emotions hijack the wheel. Not a sell the top fantasy, a real plan that turns profit into cash, reduces regret, and keeps you in the game long enough to actually win. Meet Alex. Alex wasn't a crypto guy. He was the kind of person who listened to personal finance podcasts on the way to work, maxed out his emergency fund, and bragged, in the healthiest way, about paying off his credit card every month. He wasn't chasing lumbos. He was chasing freedom. The problem is that freedom has a soundtrack in a bull run, and it's loud. Friends posting screenshots, strangers on Twitter acting like geniuses, short clips saying, "This is the easiest money of your life," and group chats that. Alex's first buy was boring. Bitcoin, then a little Ethereum. He told himself it was a small allocation, a toe in the water, but the market didn't care about his caution. It rewarded him fast. The first time his portfolio went green, he felt something he hadn't felt in years, the idea that he might be early to something real. And because crypto is a casino disguised as a technology revolution, it didn't stop at green. It teased him with absurd numbers. 1 month, he was up enough to cover a vacation. Another month, he was up enough to cover a year of rent. And then came the moment that rewired his brain. The day he realized he could make, on paper, more money in a week than he made at his job in a month. He didn't tell his parents. He didn't tell his partner. He didn't even tell his closest friend the full number. He just started checking the app more often. Once a day became 5. 5 became every time he stood in line, every time he waited for an elevator, every time he woke up in the middle of the night. When Bitcoin was hovering around the high 80,000s and Ethereum was around the high 2000s. Yes, prices can swing hard even inside a single day. Alex didn't see volatility. He saw a ladder to a different life. He started watching exit strategy videos, but most of them sounded like this: sell at the top. That's not a strategy. That's a wish. So he did what humans do when they feel uncertain and excited at the same time. He copied the loudest confident person in the room. He joined a few paid groups. He followed a few KOLs. He bought a few smaller coins just in case. The gains felt like proof. The proof turned into entitlement. Entitlement turned into bigger size. Bigger size turned into, I'll just hold through the dips. Then the market shifted. Not a crash at first, just a mood change. The candles got choppy. News headlines got messy. People who were screaming to the moon started tweeting fewer times a day. Alex's portfolio dipped, and he did nothing because the dip felt temporary. It dipped again. Still nothing. Then one evening he watched a coin he was up on by a lot drop faster than his brain could process. He stared at the screen like it was a magic trick. He told himself, if I sell now, I'm the idiot who sold right before it bounces. So he didn't sell. A few days later, the bounce never came. His life-changing profit shrank into nice profit. Then small profit. Then I'm still up, technically. Then break even. At break even, something dark happened. He stopped thinking like an investor and started thinking like a prisoner. He wasn't managing a position anymore. The position was managing him. He wasn't asking, what's my plan? He was asking, how do I get back to where I was? Weeks later, Alex had round-tripped his gains. The same bull run that could have changed his life became a story he couldn't tell anyone. He avoided the app. He avoided the topic. And the worst part wasn't the money. It was the realization that he had been right about the opportunity and still lost, because he never defined what winning actually meant. That's the tragedy of crypto for most people. They don't lose because the market is unfair. They lose because they never wrote down the rules that would protect them from themselves. And here's what makes it worse. Alex had seen the warning signs before. He remembered the headlines about exchanges freezing withdrawals, projects collapsing overnight, safe yields turning into traps. He told himself those were other people's mistakes. He told himself he was smarter because he was just holding. But holding without an exit plan isn't discipline. It's denial with better branding. If you recognize Alex, here's the uncomfortable truth. His story isn't rare. It's the default outcome when human psychology meets a market that never sleeps. First, the personal psychology layer. Crypto punishes you with speed. In traditional investing, bad habits can take years to expose. In crypto, they get exposed in a weekend. FOMO isn't just fear of missing out. It's the feeling that your entire future is being decided in the next candle. And if you don't act now, you'll be poor forever. That emotion doesn't make you buy at a good price. It makes you buy at a price that feels urgent. Then greed shows up wearing a suit. It sounds rational. I'll sell when it's higher. But higher has no finish line. Your brain moves the goalposts every time you get close. The moment you hit your first target, your mind whispers, if it did this, it can do more. So instead of taking profit, you take screenshots. You turn a financial decision into a dopamine habit. And the hardest one, loss aversion. In crypto, you can be up big and still end up feeling like a loser because you didn't sell at the absolute peak. So you avoid selling at all. You'd rather risk losing the profit than risk the emotional pain of being wrong about the top. That's how people turn "I made money" into "I survived." Second, the missing system layer. A lot of people don't actually know what game they're playing. Are you investing long-term? Are you trading short-term? Are you speculating on narratives? Are you providing liquidity? Are you farming yield? If you can't answer that in one sentence, then your actions will be inconsistent. And inconsistency is expensive in a market this volatile. Without a system, you have no position sizing rules. Your allocation becomes a mood. You don't have risk limits, so one trade can hurt your whole account. You don't have a predefined take-profit plan, so you improvise under stress. You don't have a stop-loss plan, so you hold and hope. And when hope becomes your strategy, you're no longer managing risk, you're gambling on relief. This is where a spreadsheet sounds boring, and boring is exactly what saves you. A spreadsheet forces clarity. It turns "I'll sell later" into "I will sell this percentage at these price levels for these reasons." It turns chaos into a schedule. It turns emotion into math. Third, the toxic environment layer. The crypto content ecosystem is optimized for adrenaline, not for outcomes. The algorithm rewards the loudest. The loudest voices rarely talk about exits, because exits don't go viral like entries. People flex unrealized gains, not realized cash. And because liquidity matters, the crowd needs you to be excited and late. That's how volume gets created. If you are consuming content that never talks about risk, you are being trained to become someone else's liquidity. Add in memes and short-form clips. Just ape, don't fade. This will melt faces. These phrases are engineered to bypass your thinking brain. They make the market feel like a game. But your money isn't game money. It's your time, your stress, your relationships, your future self. So when Alex round-tripped his gains, it wasn't because he was dumb. It was because he was human, operating without guardrails inside a system designed to remove guardrails. Let me make the fact part practical, not academic. Volatility is just a fancy word for your account can move in ways your stomach can handle. When an asset can swing hard, your exit cannot be a single all-or-nothing decision. Market cap and liquidity matter because they decide how violently price reacts when people panic or when whales take profit. Low liquidity means you can be right about the idea and still get wrecked by the execution. Slippage, thin order books, sudden wicks, cascading stop hunts. And if you use leverage, the market doesn't need to go to zero to wipe you out. It only needs to move far enough, fast enough, to trigger liquidation. That's why futures traders talk about risk per trade, not how bullish I feel. The market can stay irrational longer than your margin can stay alive. A spreadsheet isn't magic, but it does one critical thing. It separates your plan from the candle. The candle is emotional. The plan is boring. And boring is survivable. Here's the angle most people don't want to hear, because it steals your excuses. Crypto didn't take Alex's profits. Alex gave them back. Not on purpose, Not because he's weak, but because he never decided what the profit was for. And when profit has no purpose, you treat it like a video game score. You protect your ego, not your outcome. Most people blame whales, market makers, influencers, the manipulation, the news, the timing. Some of those forces are real. Liquidity games are real. Sentiment games are real. But they aren't the reason your profits vanish. They're just the weather. Your lack of preparation is the lack of a roof. Here's the deeper truth. Crypto is the fastest personality test on Earth. It reveals how you handle uncertainty. It reveals whether you chase social proof. It reveals whether you can follow rules when dopamine is screaming. And it reveals whether you are the kind of person who can turn opportunity into a result, not just into a story. That's why the most dangerous sentence in crypto isn't, I am all in. It's, I'll figure it out later. Later is what you say when you want to confront the reality that selling feels like losing. Selling triggers a weird identity crisis. Because if you sell, you're admitting the run might end. If you sell, you're admitting you can't control the top. If you sell, you're admitting you're not a prophet. You're just a participant. So you delay. You postpone. You keep holding and call it conviction. But conviction without a plan is just attachment. Now the twist. The people who actually win big bull runs usually don't win by catching the top. They win by refusing to round trip. They choose a process that makes it almost impossible to give back everything. They scale out. They sell in tranches. They move profit into something boring, stablecoins, cash, taxes, real-life goals, and they do it early enough that they can sleep. Their secret isn't that they're smarter. It's that they respect how stupid they can become under pressure. And that's why I'm obsessed with spreadsheets. Not because spreadsheets are cool, because spreadsheets are honest. A spreadsheet doesn't care that your favorite influencer is bullish. It doesn't care that the narrative is this is the super cycle. It doesn't care that your friends are still holding. It only asks one question. At what price will you sell? How much will you sell? And what will you do with the proceeds? If you can answer that, you're not just investing. You're building a financial identity. So let me ask you something that might sting. If your portfolio doubled tomorrow, would you actually know how to lock in the win? Or would you just post a screenshot and wait for the next candle? Because the market doesn't reward intentions. It rewards execution. And if you can't control the market, the only edge you can build is control over yourself. This is also why small money habits matter more than you think. And yes, sometimes the market keeps going after you sell. That's the psychological trap. You sell, price pumps, and your brain screams, I ruined it. But here's what nobody tells you. Missing the last part of a move is not the same as losing. It's the price you pay for certainty. The job of an exit isn't to maximize hype. It's to maximize your probability of keeping what you earned. If you want the most brutal mental reframe, it's this. Unrealized profit is not a trophy. It's a liability. Until you convert it into something you can actually use, it can be taken back by a random headline, a single whale transaction, or your own impatience. So the question isn't, what coin will do a 10x? The question is, if I get the 10x, will I actually keep it? In the next part, I am going to show you a simple framework, and then the spreadsheet structure that implements it, so you can stop relying on willpower and start relying on rules. Alright, here's the framework. It's simple on purpose, because complexity is where discipline goes to die. Step 1. Audit reality, not vibes. Open your portfolio and write down 3 things. What you own, why you own it, and whether it's a long-term hold or a trade. If you can't explain the why in one sentence, you don't have a position, you have a rumor. And be honest about exposure. How much of your total net worth is sitting in crypto right now? Not how much you hope it becomes. How much it is today? Step 2. Define what winning means before you're winning. Pick a real-world goal that matters. Paying off debt, building a cash buffer, funding a business, securing a down payment, or simply sleeping at night. Your exit strategy needs a destination. Otherwise, you'll drive in circles until the gas runs out. Step 3. Set rules that remove the all-or-nothing trap. Instead of sell everything at the top, you sell in planned slices. This is laddering out. You choose price levels and percentages. The exact numbers depend on your risk tolerance, but the logic is universal. You take some profit on the way up so that a sudden drop can erase everything. If price keeps going, you still have exposure. If it reverses, you already banked something. Step 4. Route profits into safety on purpose. When you sell, Decide where it goes: stablecoins, cash, tax reserve, or a separate do not touch account. If your profit sits next to your trading funds, you will re-risk it. It's like putting recovered oxygen back into a fire. Step 5. Review, because your brain lies. Once a week or once a month, you look back and ask, did I follow my rules, or did I negotiate with them? Write down the emotion you felt before selling or before refusing to sell. Over time, you'll see patterns. Boredom leads to overtrading, excitement leads to oversizing, fear leads to freezing. Now, how does the spreadsheet template make this real? The spreadsheet is simply this framework turned into a checklist you can't ignore. One section is your holdings and cost basis. Another section is your exit ladder, price levels, how much you sell at each level, and what that sale accomplishes for your real life. Another section is your execution log, not to shame you, but to protect you. Because once you can see your own behavior, you can change it. Here's the best part. The spreadsheet doesn't care if the market is euphoric or terrifying. It stays the same. It becomes your seatbelt in a bull run and your anchor in a correction. And yes, you'll still make mistakes. You'll still sell too early sometimes. You'll still feel FOMO. But your account won't have to pay for every emotion you feel. Let me give you a concrete mini scenario. Before, Alex takes profit by feeling it. He says things like, I'll sell when it feels extended. In a fast pump, it never feels extended because every candle is green. When the first red candle hits, he freezes. He's not managing, he's reacting. After, Alex uses the template. He sets 5 ladder levels. The first level is intentionally too early, just enough to take back his initial capital or cover a meaningful goal. That single move changes everything. Now the remaining position is house money, and the emotional pressure drops. He stops checking the app every 5 minutes because he already did the most important sale. For traders, you can add one extra rule: define risk per idea. If you're using leverage, the spreadsheet should include your maximum loss point, the level where you accept you were wrong, not as a punishment, but as a cost of doing business. Professionals don't aim to be right every time. They aim to survive wrongness. And if you're a long-term investor, the spreadsheet protects you from a different trap, the forever hold fantasy. You can still believe in Bitcoin, Ethereum, DeFi, whatever narrative you want, but you choose an exit for parts of the position because life needs liquidity. Holding isn't a religion, it's a tool. This is why I call it a real exit plan. It turns crypto from a mood into a process. Now I want to slow down, because there's a part of this story nobody posts screenshots of. When Alex round-tripped his gains, he didn't just lose money. He lost trust in himself. It starts small. You stop opening the app because the number feels like a judgment. You stop talking about crypto because you feel exposed. You remember the night you almost sold, and you didn't. You replay it like a breakup you can't stop stalking. And then you hear the quiet voice that hurts the most. I had a chance, and I messed it up. If you've been there, I need you to hear this clearly. You're not alone, and you're not broken. Crypto is designed to hit your nervous system. It's 24/7. It's social. It's volatile. And it's full of people who sell certainty like a product. Of course it messed with your head. Of course you made emotional decisions. You're human. But here's the deeper lesson. Money isn't just math. Money is identity. When you make a good decision with money, you feel like an adult. When you make a bad decision with money, you feel like a fraud. And crypto compresses that feeling into days instead of decades. That's why people hide losses from their families. Not because their families are cruel, but because the shame feels unbearable. You don't want to be the person who fell for hype. You don't want to be the person who gambled. You don't want to be the person who had it and lost it. And the irony is that most of the pain doesn't come from the market. It comes from the story you tell yourself about what the loss means. A loss can mean, I'm stupid, or it can mean, I lacked a system. One of those stories destroys you. The other one gives you something you can actually fix. That's why I'm pushing the exit plan so hard. It's not just about profit. It's about self-respect. When you write rules down, you're saying, my future matters more than my impulses. When you follow a ladder, you're saying, I don't need to be perfect to be successful. When you move profits into safety, you're saying, my life is not a chart. Crypto will tempt you with shortcuts. It will whisper, just one more trade. It will seduce you with the idea of becoming rich fast, because fast feels like relief. But relief is not the same as freedom. Freedom is slow, boring, repeatable. And maybe the most mature thing you can do in a bull run is also the least sexy. Take money off the table and build a life with it. Pay down the debt. Build the cash reserve. Help your parents. Fund your health. Invest in skills. Do something that still exists even when the chart is red. If Alex could go back, he wouldn't ask for a different coin. He would ask for a different relationship with money. And that's what you rebuilding here. A relationship where you don't need to win every move. You just need to stop losing yourself. That's the real upgrade. There's also a strange loneliness in crypto that people don't talk about. In a job, you can blame the economy. In a relationship, you can blame timing. In crypto, the moment you press buy or sell, you are alone with the consequence. No one else pays for your overconfidence. No one else refunds your FOMO. That loneliness is why communities feel addictive. A group chat can feel like a life jacket, but sometimes the life jacket is just a crowd swimming in the same direction, straight into the rocks. That's why your plan has to exist outside the noise. It has to be something you can trust when your feelings are not trustworthy. And if you're a Gen Z viewer thinking, I don't have real money yet, I'm just trying to understand, you're actually in the best position. Because you can build the habit before the stakes get huge. You can learn to write rules before your ego is attached to the outcome. You can become the person who doesn't need to get hurt to get disciplined. So don't treat the spreadsheet like homework. Treat it like a mirror. It shows you who you are when you're excited, who you are when you're afraid, and who you are when you're tempted to gamble. And once you can see that clearly, you can choose a better version of yourself. Let's land this with honesty. Crypto is not a guaranteed path to freedom. It's a high volatility arena where you can win fast and lose faster. It can make smart people act reckless. It can make patient people act addicted. And it can convince you that your self-worth is a number that updates every second. But it's also real. It's an emerging financial system. It's a new kind of asset. And if you treat it like a serious game with serious rules, it can be part of a long-term plan, not a lottery ticket. So I'm not asking you to become a genius trader. I'm asking you to become someone who knows what they're doing. Someone who decides their exit before the market forces it. Someone who can take profit without needing to call the top. Someone who can look at a green portfolio and say, I'm grateful, and I'm still disciplined. If you take one action after this video, make it this: build your exit strategy spreadsheet template. Even if it's messy, even if it's imperfect, and write down your first ladder. Just one. The moment you do that, you separate yourself from 90% of the crowd that relies on vibes. And I want to hear your story. Have you ever round trip to win? Have you ever watched profit evaporate because you couldn't press sell? Drop a comment with the moment that hurt the most, or the lesson that changed you. If you're new, comment new, and what type of player you are: long-term, trader, degen, or just curious. I read them, and the best comments shape the next videos. If you found this useful, support the channel in the simplest way: like, share, subscribe. You can also click my avatar and check the channel description. I keep my recommended tools and exchange links there. If you choose to use them, do it with awareness, understand the risks, follow the rules in your country, and never let a bonus push you into reckless leverage. One last thing. In the next video, I am going to break down a real liquidity trap setup, the kind that makes retail buy the top and sell the bottom. And I'll show you how to spot it before it eats your account. Until then, protect your oxygen. Keep your plan boring. And don't donate your bull run to the market. Because here's the truth nobody wants to admit in public. Most people don't fail in crypto because they never get an opportunity. They fail because they finally get an opportunity, and then they don't know how to hold it. They don't know when to stop. They don't know how to turn a chart into a life. Your exit plan is the bridge between I was right and I actually benefited. It's the line between being entertained by the market and being paid by the market. So if you're watching this in a bull run, don't wait until the first crash to become serious. Do it while you still feel confident, because confidence is when you're most vulnerable to greed. And if you're watching this in a drawdown, don't quit. Build the system now so you don't repeat the same story when the next wave comes. After you comment, if you still have time, watch 1 or 2 more videos on this channel. Not for hype, for repetition. The goal is to build a mindset that survives multiple cycles, not a mood that dies with one red week. You don't need to win the biggest. You need to keep what you win.